Previously on Lego Transformers.
Time to stop you, Autobots attack! Whoa. You gotta help. What's this? Rat, get help. Rippersnapper. Blot. Cutthroat. Sinnertwin. Hungarrr. Terrorcons. Soundvox presents
Lego Transformers.
Hungarrr needs help. Guess I should go. Blot font. Okay, Blot, help. What is this? Food! I follow, he no get away. Help, Hungarrr, we must. You're under arrest, Decepticon. No sudden moves. Oof. Oof. Good, they're coming. Autobot base calling reinforcements. Oof. Get off me! Terrorcons merge and form Abominus! Okay. It had to come to this. Autobots, fire! Oof. Whoa! Whoa!
Autobots, retreat and regroup. Abominus. Hello, Lego Transformers fans. This is Soundvox with another episode of Lego Transformers. Today, the moment you've been waiting for about a year and a half now, we are showing the combined Terrorcons, Abominus. As you can see here as a size comparison, on the right I have my Lego Transformers Abominus fully combined. And on the left hand side I have my Generation 1 Abominus combined. Now Abominus I always found to be an amazing looking combiner. His different colors of his different robots really made him stand out, and during the end of Transformers they were all about the wacky colors and stuff. But he just looks so cool. Unlike Predaking, his colors don't make one cohesive color scheme. They make this interesting futuristic space monster combiner color scheme, and it just looks, how do you say, 90s style, radical? Anyways, funny story about Abominus. I went to a Transformers convention called CyberCon in New York City, and I saw a fully put together Abominus for $160. And I said, I am going to try to make my own Abominus at this festival. So I went to every place I could, every booth, and I found pieces of Abominus. And when I was done, I had built my Generation 1 Abominus for only $60 by buying each part separately. It was a cool little challenge, and it actually made the convention super fun, looking for this treasure hunt of Transformers. And yeah, I know, mine are not in mint condition. In fact, my blot is a little sloppy. He doesn't like to stay extended. And my Rippersnapper, when I tried to move him into make him an arm, his head broke off. But I glued it back on. So they weren't the top quality figures like the one that was for $160. But it was a fun event, and it was fun hunting for Transformers to build this guy. At the same time, the Lego Transformers guy, building him was a really fun thing to do too. So here we have the two Hungarrs next to each other. What we're going to do is show you how to combine them into Abominus. So I'm going to move my Lego one out of the way so he doesn't get injured while we transform this G1 figure. So his hands fold back down just like into dinosaur mode. And then you fold his dino legs backwards, keeping his shoulders upright. You then take and pull his legs out and rotate him down. This gives him more stability in the combined mode. This is the torso of Abominus. Now, to finish him off, we're going to add this plate with these little knobs here into the front of his chest. And then we're going to take this head, which is hollowed out, and put it over his head. And there we have the torso for Abominus. Now we're going to move that out of the way. Now we're going to do the same thing with our Lego Transformers Hungarrr. So first thing you're going to want to do is straighten his legs out to the side. And this is challenging. Now just so you know, I did make a change to him. I loaded some pins in the back of him and in these parts of his legs. These pins and pieces here, Technic pieces holding it all together, that will make him sturdier. So when he's in his Abominus form, his legs don't keep breaking. Then at this scale, I rotate this part down and do the same here. So now he's doing that kind of that straddle look like the other one was doing. Now for the arms, we can just take and rotate his hands back and rotate his arms back. And I actually like to put them down flat more than rotate them fully back. There's a... Oh, the pin popped. Here we go. Okay. There's a reason for this. If they're down like this, they can provide some support while he's in his combined mode. Now, one of the key secrets we're going to do here is we're going to take this 2x6 piece and put it across his back. This is going to prevent his robot arms from rotating. Now, Hungarr's arms will not move. So when we stick in Abominus arms, we can rotate them. Next, we remove his head. Unfortunately, I could not make a hollow Lego to go on top of his head. So when we build his torso, I just used my Abominus head I built here out of Lego. And I take and hook that little hole onto that stud. So his entire head articulation is stud friction. Now you saw the giant chest plate on the G1. Well, here's our chest plate for this one. These scales, I made them just right so that they would match up with the chest plate here. And we stick this right on there. And now we have Abominus' torso. Now we're going to set that off to the side. Now let's work on his legs. So, right here we have sinnertwin G1 in robot mode. For the G1 toys, it's easy to transform them from robot mode into their combiner part modes easier than it is in their beast modes. So for him, we're just going to add the foot on, and you get a leg. Pretty simple. And you see the head's going to plug in. Let's move him out of the way. Now let's take my sinnertwin, my Lego sinnertwin. And I find that mine are easier to do this with in their beast modes than they are in the robot modes. Okay, so here we go. We got sinnertwin. And what we're going to do with him, we're going to take this foot plate. Let me try to rotate my camera just a little bit. I'm going to take this foot plate that I made, and this is actually going to hold him in place on the foot plate. We are then going to take and rotate his beast legs. So let's get all of his beast parts out of the way. We rotate his front legs around. We're going to rotate his heads backwards, just like we're transforming to robot mode. But instead of opening his legs, we're going to rotate his bottom legs up and tighten them up as far as we can. Now we can take and clip this blue piece across these 3 pieces and these little bottoms of his feet onto this gray piece. So we line everything up and stick the first part to him. Now we stick the feet down, and now we have him in a foot mode. But how are we going to combine his body to the bigger figure? This is where you got to do some Lego ingenuity here. And basically, unlike the actual G1 figures that the heads become pieces, this little Lego head can't do anything. So we're going to take it right off. And I built this piece here, which has a ratcheting clip, and it's gray and has a little ledge. And this is going to be our Abominus leg piece. And so now he's fully in his leg form. So we're going to move sinnertwin off to the side and bring in our next leg transformer. Now, the Abominus, you can move any of his transformers to any areas of his body because he's a Scramble City combiner. But I do it this way because of the limitations of my figures. So here we have Blot, and he's in robot mode except for his arms are down. And so my Blot I use as a leg as well. And so we're just going to hook this like this. And the reason I did this is because when I built my Transformers, I built them off of this. So these ones, this pattern of putting them together is the best way to get my Lego Transformer Abominus together. So we'll move him to the other side and bring in Blot, the Lego version. Lego Blot. He's in his beast mode or his monster mode. Now the only difference is we're going to rotate his robot legs down as well, just to be a little extra support for his little monster legs. And his transformation, we have this piece here. These little purple 1x2s are going to clip to the bottom of his monster feet. Just like that. Now he is a little looser than sinnertwin, so he will rotate back and forth a little bit. So we want to kind of straighten him out as much as possible. And then, much like sinnertwin, we have this piece here that's going to help him combine to Hungarrr. Now, he has studs available on top, so we're just going to place this 3-piece right on those studs. And now we've built this leg. Now we're going to build the arms. So for my arms, Rippersnapper is one of the arms that I use. So we take him, and we take a fist piece, and it just plugs into the bottom. Then we take his head, and we rotate his head down. Turn the fist, and now we have an arm. So how we do that with Lego Transformers, this is my Rippersnapper. He's very articulated, very shark-like, very monsterish. And I know it's pretty high up, so I'm going to kind of lower my camera just a little bit more. I need it high up to show the full Abominus off. So we're going to fold his head back like we would transform him. Then we're going to take his hands and rotate them up. Rotate his legs down. And they kind of fit together, so they'll kind of hold each other in place. Right like that. Next, we take the Abominus Lego fist I created. I use dark purple for the outside of it, a little dark purple piece for the thumb, and this lighter purple curve to make it look like it's a hand. And what we do here is we take and put it on the bottom of his tail. Now you have a leg. And some of these pieces are held on by a very little bit, so they can get in the way sometimes. And we can even rotate his legs back a little more to get them kind of out of the way, so you can see his hand and his arm. Now how does he hook to Hungarrr? That's where we get this handy dandy piece in. I used a little purple on this and some grays. So this piece, we have a studs on the side 4. And we hook that right to his chest. You notice his Decepticon symbol is gone, so we can actually make the connection. Now this should plug in and we can rotate up and down. We'll do the same with our bird brain cutthroat. So for the G1 figure, I gently pull his head down. And I'm very leery of this because, like I said before, my sinnertwin's head broke when doing this. Then we stick the arm in, the hand in, and now we have an arm. So my cutthroat's right here. And how we're going to do him is the same way we did Rippersnapper. We're going to take cutthroat and we're going to put his arms back. Now they're kind of out of the way. Rotate them around. Now we have this piece that hooks to the body. We're going to stick that right in the front there. Once again, Cutthroat's little Decepticon badge was taken out, so we could do this. And then we take the hand and hook it right to his tail piece here. And now we have another arm. Now, how does it all go together? Well, for the G1 figure, we'll take Blot and Sinnertwin. And we'll take Abominus and we'll hook the heads in the holes on his feet. There we go. He was being a little stubborn with me right there. He didn't want to stay in place. And you can see now he's super tall, so we got to back up. Zoom out. Back up the camera. And then we just take his hands, plug them in the holes in the shoulders. His head's not very tight. On mine, anyways. And same thing here. Plug the head into the shoulder. And make sure it's lined up right. There we go. You can hear the ratchets as he moves. And now we got G1 Abominus combined. So let's move him out of the way because he's not the real star of the show. The real star of the show is Lego Transformers Terrorcons. So we bring in Blot and we bring in sinnertwin, and they are our legs. Now we're going to take our torso, Hungarrr, and we're going to do a couple things here. First, we're going to take his heads off. So we take his heads and we unhook them from the ratchet. And you can see that one's an in ratchet and that one's a double over ratchet. Double over ratchet, one in ratchet. Take the heads, and this gray robotic piece we put here, we're just going to attach the heads here. Now you can see for these, I actually removed the lower jaws already. Okay, so now the heads are on there. Now the reason I'm doing it like this is because just attaching the heads is not very sturdy and they'll fall off. So instead what we've done is we've put ratcheting pieces on the back here. And we're going to hook these ratcheting pieces into Hungarrr's feet where his heads were. And then we're going to rotate that up. Same thing here. Now you can see Legos are very fragile and delicate. So when doing this, there have been a lot of Legos popping off here and there. When I did my stop motion animation, I had to stop in between takes and reinforce things and reattach things. It's just the nature of Legos. They are delicate. They're more of a model than they are to be played with totally. But now we have his legs. Abominus' legs. And much of his body. So now for the arms. And the arms are quite simple. In my Hungarrr design, I put these hole pieces in here, Technic holes for the Technic pins. And we use the black pins because they're the sturdiest. And we can stick them in there. The only downside to this is that when we stick the arms in, you have to hold the arm to rotate it or prop it up on something. Like during my stop motion, I had to prop it up on stuff. And that's how he was able to keep his arm forward in the air. I might have to try to figure out how to do ratcheting joints for future combiners, just to make them sturdier. But here we have Lego Transformers Abominus fully combined. So now let's look at Abominus's colors. So the combined Abominus, he has a light gray helmet and a purple face with yellow eyes. So I tried to encompass this with lighter gray pieces for his head. I used yellow square pieces for eyes, and I put a little yellow piece in his visor, just to give him some extra detail. I used a purple cheese wedge for a nose, a little yellow circular piece for a mouth, and then a little purple cap on the bottom of that. And these two magenta block colors, because they're closer to Abominus' actual colors. Because these magenta Legos are kind of rare in what I have, I only have a few on Hungarrr as scales. And then I used purples to build his chest plate, and his hands, and his feet pieces. I try to mix it up with a little lavender in there too, to kind of give you that magenta-ish look of the figure. Additionally, each of the Terrorcons has their designs, which makes them look good together. And his hands can move up and down, just like the real toys can. However, they're not ratcheting, so they're hard to keep into place. You can move his hands. You can also kind of move his legs. He has the pivot joints from Hungarrr, but it does get a little challenging. But see, you can kind of put him into some action poses there. In the original, his arms move up and down, but they got like a ratchet in them. You can kind of move his feet kind of up and down too a little bit. So you can get some pretty cool poses out of these guys. Now, let's do a size comparison, just to show off how big this guy actually is. Now we'll do a size comparison. Here is Lego Abominus to the minifigure, and he is gigantic. Smooth the minifigure over. Next, we'll compare him to Bumblebee. Same thing. Abominus is gigantic to Bumblebee, who barely is halfway up one of his limb components. We'll move Bumblebee over and bring in Sideswipe. Now, Sideswipe is as big as his limb components, so he is a little taller than Bumblebee, but still, he is dwarfed in height to the giant combiner. And then we'll bring in Optimus Prime. Optimus Prime is about twice the size of Sideswipe, about a little bit larger than a limb combined with the Hungarrr leg piece. But even Optimus Prime, one of our largest Transformer builds, is tiny compared to Abominus in his combined form. So there we have Lego Transformers Abominus. If you liked this episode, give it a like, comment, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.